Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime.
And welcome to the show, everybody. I know this is probably throwing you sideways, but Kevin is taking care of some more things, so I am opening up for us today. I am doing very well. We've had a very good day. Things have been very encouraging, and I feel very blessed today to come back to a point of understanding that we have our stressful days and we have times that we can't really figure out, but it's so much more empowering to know that day will end in a positive way and to move forward and say, okay, well, what can I make of this day? And so one of the things that comes with that is challenges with relationships, challenges with people, and talking about how to kind of guide yourself through that and navigate the people that are good for you in your life and how to even know that. So I love to be here today we have Chaya Garcia, a relationship expert that we are talking with, and she's going to give us new insight and ideas about what all of this even means. So welcome to the show, and how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me here. It is such an honor to connect with you and give impact to your audience on how they can attract the right relationships.
Right. So when it comes to relationships, was there something that happened in your life that's like, hey, this is something I think I want to do because that's probably one of the last things somebody would say, I want to focus on relationships for the rest of my life. So what kind of got you into this work?
I actually love relationships, and I've been obsessed with relationships and love and marriage ever since I was a little girl. Like, people would ask me when I wanted to grow up, what do you want to be? And I'd be like, a mom and a wife, obviously. And so I did pursue my degree, and I got my straight A's and my bachelor's and my master's. And I was 26 with a bachelor's and a master's and straight A's and a house and my own car
Yeah.
and the money and everything. But then I got so excited because my boyfriend was about to come over, and I got all ready, and I got so excited, and I got dressed, and I made breakfast and printed out something for us to read, to connect and grow together. And then he kind of like shows up in his car, and he like stumbles in the house. He's not so excited. He's not so interested in the breakfast I made. And then he goes on to tell me that he's going to break up with me to go snort ketamine upstate New York, because I always said, choose me or drugs. But obviously, a relationship is so much better than drugs. So, if you want to be with me, then I don't want you doing drugs. And then that day he decided enough with the lying, essentially, and he
Yeah.
was going to break up with me to go do drugs. So there I was, fetal position, crying, just broken up with this amazing guy that I thought I was going to spend my life with, and heartbroken, but also heart whole, because I had this divine moment where, even though I was in like shock fetal position on my bed after he left, hello, Kevin.
Kevin,
Hello. I'm
it's a
I'm
party
I'm
now.
I'm so glad to meet you and to see you again. I think.
Yes. You remember me. My daughter was like doing her affirmations to you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, I was doing a 50-minute meeting because they double booked us somehow, and he had to leave because he's in Australia, Sydney, and his kids were getting ready for school, and he had to go tie his kid's tie. And so, yeah, your kids wear ties going to school. Anyway, it's great to see you, and it's great to see you again. So where I came in is somebody was in a fetal position crying on their bed.
Yep. That was me over 10 years ago. And I thought to myself, how did I create this situation? How did I
Mm.
attract this scenario? How was I, for like the bajillionth time in my life, saying things like, you need to change, and if you just stop doing this, it's all going to be okay? And so I became obsessed at that moment even more with how two people choose each other. So how does a woman who has a father who has alcoholism and then addictive rage go into a room with like 300 men, and after an hour she walks out, unbeknownst to her, so to speak, with a man who is in her marriage going to have rage issues and alcoholism, just like her dad. Like, how does that happen? How do people find two people attractive and make them choose each other? So I became obsessed with this answer. And let's say there's like Mark and John look both identical. What makes you, Jane, be like, oh my God, John is so my type, versus like the other guy who, again, they look the same for this. And he's like, no, boring. Like, what about your brain decides when you're attracted to someone separate from the fact that, let's say, they're all the same physical attractiveness level? And then the truth is, I spent hundreds of hours in the 12-step program, hundreds of hours already. Now I had done my master's. So I spent 8 years studying psychology, relationships, mental health issues, addiction, and codependency. But then I went into the rooms. And once I was in the 12-step program rooms, I realized that you can be sick and successful. I had the car, I had the house, I had the boyfriend, I had the money, I had 2 degrees by the age of 26, but I was so sick because I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to hear my feelings. I didn't know how to be honest with reality instead of plan for fantasy land. And therefore, I recreated situations in my life that played out wounds I didn't even know that were there enough to heal. And so once I became obsessed with this, I also became an expert, and I rechanged my whole life, my body, my brain, my belief systems. And now I attracted, after many years of only attracting addicts, my husband, and now I'm in my 8th year happily married with kids, and now I share this message to the world with other women.
Okay, so before we jump in full force and talk about all the boundaries and stuff, I just have to touch on how important it is to understand the trauma you've been through. And I've really become to hate this term. I'd love your input on it, but when people say, "Oh, well, I'm healed," honey, let me tell you something. If there's one thing I've learned, and maybe I'm just young and naive and I don't understand yet, but there's so many things and so many people and ages that I've learned. You don't actually fully heal from something. It's a continuous process. You know, you're always in a healing, you're always growing, you're always changing. So I don't like that healed because it kind of puts you stagnant. But what you've been through in your life, you have to also take a look at and not avoid, because it drives a lot of your behavior in who you are. Like you said, how did I create this? I am running into the same thing right now. And and to look inward rather than to blame it on everything happening to you, but kind of to understand why you are the way you are and attracting these people, but without shame and with understanding so that you can move forward, because there is a whole nother world, right?
Yeah. I mean, healed isn't the right necessarily word, because you're right, we're always growing, but I do think there is a point of education. So in my
Yeah,
company,
for sure.
we educate women on how to love themselves, and then also what are the signs of healthy and unhealthy behavior in the dating process, so that I can guarantee the clients that I work with that 24 hours after the first date, they will become a leader in their own life if they have the right education on if this person is going to hurt.
Oh no, don't do this.
Come on. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, this person is.
Wait, what?
I think you
Kevin?
froze, but the last thing we heard was this person is.
Oh, if this person is going to leave you and abandon you, or if they are going to be ready for loving you and not in exchange of what you can give them, and actually a long-term commitment in marriage, let's say. So this type of education just isn't being taught anywhere else. And again, it's not about being healed, it's about being educated. You need the belief that you are 100% effed up, because we've all gone through stuff, and 100% lovable. And if you can really maintain that belief, I'm 100% effed up and 100% lovable, then when you make a mistake, you don't bring yourself down and you don't stay down, because you're like, yup, effed up and still 100% lovable. I still deserve only good. I still deserve only love, even though what I've been through doesn't impact what I can choose. Even though I've gone through a bunch of stuff doesn't make me any less lovable just because I've had this happen to me or done this. And so the belief system of, yeah, it's okay to be effed up, and still my worth doesn't change or vacillate based on my past. I'm still only choosing and attracting good. It's a very powerful belief system, especially when you're attracting relationships, because the movement that I have is called Love Lighters. And it's for women who learn how to light up their own love, that a little bit of light brought into yourself can dispel so much darkness, and that you don't allow people who are unhealthy to come and snuff out and suffocate your life because they don't give you room to grow and be your best, vibrant, weird, quirky self. And men who aren't really right for you will try to change you, control you, comment, and essentially snuff out your light because you're constantly reacting to the wind that they blow at you, struggling to stay up and bright and uplifted. And if they're not also a light, then it's impossible to merge and grow better and higher to brighten up your own environment and then the world after that.
Very true.
Chaya, is it hard to find a man who is a little bit more enlightened? A lot of guys are very simple. Feed me, give me sex, and let me watch football, and that's all they care about. How do you work? How do you teach women to be more selective than that?
Well, there's two different questions. You asked me one question, so I'll answer that one first. Is it hard to find? Men are simple by nature. They do like those simple pleasures of life. However, you don't want to say, oh, I need to find an enlightened man. I'm trying to find a man. So a few things on that. One, you're not trying to find someone. You're trying to attract them. As a woman, you're not trying to go out and scavenge, where's the right man for me? Is he hot? Is he going to want me? Maybe you. First of all, you're not trying to find. You're trying to attract as a woman. You're feminine. You're good. You're lovable. You're not chasing. The second thing is, yes, men will always be simple, and it's a beautiful part of them. But then you want to categorize it not into enlightened, like who's enlightened, who's not, who's healthy and who's not, right? So everyone's screwed up and still lovable. And so you're categorizing as you approach the world into your relationships, are they healthy or unhealthy? Not are they effed up, because we've already gone through that. Everyone's effed up and still 100% lovable. But are they healthy or unhealthy, which means when they have pain in their life, do they approach it? Are they curious about it? Do they know how to cope with their pain? Or are they in a state of avoidance? Do they run away from their pain? When life gets hard, they go smoke a joint. They go to the bar. They watch porn. They overwork. They're totally avoidant of their hardships and their traumas and their pain. And they don't have the capacity to give to you because they don't have enough from themselves first. So that's the answer to your first question. In regards to the second question, do you have a follow-up before I go to the second one?
No, I'm going, because that all is very complicated and stuff. So, but go ahead, answer the second part. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, it's funny because Kevin says it's so complicated, but really it's so simple. It's so simple. So yeah, I'll let you continue. Really simple.
No, it is really simple. Say why you find it simple, because it is really simple.
Yeah. Well, and I would say it's the thought process behind it. I think that I hate the whole, guys can't do this and girls can't do that. Anybody can do anything. But I think it comes down to more personality, because if a man is willing to look at himself in a healthy view, and he has awareness, it doesn't become so complicated because now the thoughts are there. It's complicated sometimes because it's never there, and it's never a thought that is brought up, because as a woman as well, yes, we're not there to teach the man, but what more are they supposed to know if we're not setting the boundaries to kind of show and also explain from our point of view? This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. This is why. That'll get a man to open up a lot. So I'm going to let you continue with what you said, and then you can follow up with what I did.
I got now a question now. If you want to answer the first.
No, go Kevin. I want to hear your question.
Yeah.
Well, see, from a guy's point of view, from my point of view, I was always interested. And by the way, you two are very attractive females. And so consequently, I would be on my best behavior with you because I have an ulterior motive. I'm not going to share that with you right now, except for the gospel according to Robin Williams, which is God gave men two heads, but only enough blood to run one at a time. And so guys are always trying to look at you and say, and it's a conquest. And they're going to be on their best behavior until they're not. How do you decipher between those kind of guys and guys that are actually genuine? And by the way, the genuine guys aren't nearly as good looking as the not so genuine guys because they don't get the action that the good looking guys get. But they could be a much better life partner. Is that right?
So true. It is.
Yeah, so it's a really great question, and I have hopefully a great answer. So basically in my program, I broke it up into observable and tactical behaviors. So you can actually look at observable behaviors, things that you see on the first date, as well as communication. So someone who's interested, let's say in just a booty call instead of a life partner, will actually behave very differently on the first date. First of all, the way that I break it up is into 3 different parts. The way I can guarantee you'll know by the end of the 24 hours after the first date, which is a pretty big promise that I'm pretty confident on, is because the type of communication even before the first date is vastly different for someone who's looking for an exchange versus someone who's looking for a commitment. Most men, you're right, if they're not ready, because they don't know how to love themselves and they don't know how to provide and they don't have enough self-esteem, they do just want the woman for what the woman can give her. But that's not wanting that specific woman. It's like wanting because she's attractive or wanting sex or wanting a good communication.
Any woman will do in some and for some guys. Any woman will do if she's party.
Yeah.
Right. And so the type of man who's not looking to commit to you, like the individual with whom he's speaking, but just wanting something from you as a woman, or it has a very different type of communication. So first of all, he won't necessarily ask you out on a date. He won't say, hey, I really like you. I love getting to know you. Can I take you out on a date? Does Thursday at 4 p.m. work for you? And then actually he'll follow up at Thursday at 4 p.m. and be like, so does this place work? Is this okay for you? Do you have any allergies and this doesn't work? Great. Is it okay if I pick you up or do you want to meet me there? So there's different forms of communication. There's different forms of consent. And there's actually different topics completely spoken about.
Versus, okay, I have to stop you just real quick. I want you to get all of this out and have it be free flowing because what you're about to say is so crucial. We are 3 minutes past the break, so we're going to take a really, really quick break. This conversation is becoming so good. So I'm going to take us to a quick little break. And when we come back, I want you to have the stage to kind of just lay everything out that you're saying without breaking it up. So
it's all good.
Let's do that. Kevin, is that cool with you?
I'm just along for the ride.
Okay, well, stay with us, everybody. It's myself and Kevin McDonald, of course, and Chaya Garcia is the relationship expert. Just don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become 7-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
And I don't know how to play the music, but welcome back to Positive Talk Radio, everybody. It's myself, Rochelle, and Kevin, and we have Chaya Garcia, the relationship expert. So I'm going to let you just beautifully continue on as what you were saying and laid out for us.
Thank you. So thank you guys so much. So Kevin was saying how there's some guys who really just want you to be with them
One
because they
thing.
want something from you, because they need something from you, whether it's intimacy, whether it's just feminine energy, whether it's friendship, whether it's communication, whether it's an F buddy or a travel buddy. They do want something from you. And that's a different type of communication in the beginning of the relationship. When they start approaching you, when they talk to you, the words that they will use will be vastly different. And like I said before break, they won't ask you out on a date. They won't say, hey, I'm looking for a committed relationship and I really like you so far from what I know. Can I take you out on a date to see, if this relationship will go further? They won't speak like that. They'll be like, you're so hot. Or like, I've never met anyone as beautiful as you. Or like, oh my gosh, like your legs look so good in that skirt. Or do you want to do Netflix and chill? Or what are you doing later? Or next week I'm going to this party. Do you want to come with me? Or hey, I'm about to take a road trip and you look like the best person I can take it with. Hey, you want to come join? And so they're telling you with their communication exactly what they're interested in. If you pay attention and if you're a love lighter and light up your own love, you don't get drawn into that blue light like a fly, confused. Like he's not asking me out on a date. Oh, he's not really interested in commitment. Why? Because he didn't say anything about it. He's not. So you actually just step back and be an observer instead of a woman wanting to be loved, and listen to what he's actually saying and not saying to see if he's consistent with his behavior and actions for a committed relationship.
So I have to ask you this.
Yes.
By being that as a woman, you can create maybe a better understanding. So let me put it this way. By setting those boundaries and being that within yourself can also teach him that I ran into a situation where a friend that I knew met this guy and the communication was the same. Oh my God, you're so hot, blah, 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 blah. Girls have heard all these things before. There's nothing as a man that you can tell a girl that she probably hasn't heard before, whether it works or not. But because she told him, listen, I don't like your form of communication. And I see that your health needs a lot of attention more than you're giving me. You should be paying attention to yourself. And she set that boundary, not being disrespectful. That doesn't mean you have to be rude as a woman because that teaches them nothing. But she set that expectation, and he ended up coming back and communicating with her and saying, I see where I went wrong. That's not what I meant by this. And I'm learning how to communicate because of the boundaries you set, and me realizing that I do want a solid connection with somebody. Like, are you willing to go through that with me? And of course, as a woman, that's a choice that you get to take. But would you agree that we also set the expectation of what any woman kind of deserves at that point when she is herself, rather than talking to a little girl who hasn't gone there yet and helping them know how to communicate? Because sometimes they come into a conversation and you talk to them differently and they don't really know how to respond because they've never communicated in a mature way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think that would be a very easy way to get into a very shitty relationship. Am I allowed to curse a little bit, Kevin, or no?
Well, apparently you did, so apparently you are.
Okay. So it's a really easy way to get into a crappy, unhealthy relationship. So if you think as a woman, you need to set expectations to teach the man how to behave, you're already not a love lighter. You're already in your masculine and you're already in your mother. Like Kevin, hi, Kevin, just so you know, Kevin, I really didn't like the way you spoke to me. And if you want to be with me, you really just need to speak a little nicer and not touch me on my ass, but my shoulder when we hang out. Is that okay with you? Meaning, I'm already controlling, dictating, emasculating, being the man, and a liar. Because if you really want to see how the relationship will play out, and if this person has the character and the maturity for you not to drain your energy, you need reality land observer land and present land, not fantasy, not future, not potential, not I'm going to change him. And if you have the inkling to set expectations of his behavior instead of just seeing what his behavior is, you're 100% going to end up in like a very draining, exhausting relationship. And the pattern of relationships that come when you say, just so you know, I really don't like, you have to walk me to the door, and I don't want to be kissed on the front. Like, whenever you're doing that, you've already set yourself up to be the controller, and he's already set himself up to be controlled by you. And what that happens in the beginning might feel so good. Oh, he listens to me. He changes for me. In a marriage, in a committed relationship, he's going to do all the same shit he was first doing when he met you behind your back. And it's just going to be an exhausting circle of hoping that he's finally going to be the man that you keep expecting him to be because you told him your expectations. The only way to have a true and sustainable epic love is if you sit back and observe who he truly is right now when you meet him, without telling him, without putting your input into his behavior. You can't see who he is if you're putting your input into it and telling him how to communicate and what and how to behave. Then you don't even know who he is. He's just in reaction to you. And then you have a very unhealthy dynamic going forward.
That was perfect. That's exactly what I wanted you to say.
Are there certain signs that you can take as a woman that somebody, as an example, if a gentleman, if the guy opens the door for you, or rather than, and I see this all the time nowadays, and it just drives me crazy, rather than going around and opening the car door for her to make sure that she gets in safely, and then going to get in behind the wheel, they'll just get in behind the wheel, and the woman will just do their thing. And is there a sign that tells you that this person is actually at least courteous enough and is looking out after you enough to do the things that a in my world a normal guy would do? Or because it just drives me crazy. But there are men. I'm telling you, there are men out there that are going, if I treat her nicely, she's not going to like me as well as if I am hard to get and tell them what I want them to know and not what they want to hear. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, but again, they're two totally different questions. The first question is how do you see the first question is, how do you see if a guy has healthy behavior during the dating process? Like, are there clear signs? Which, yes, and I can go into them. And the second thing is, then there's other forms of men who have very low self-esteem and haven't learned how to love themselves and believe in themselves and what they can provide. And they're also in an unhealthy state where they feel like they need to pretend to be someone else to attract someone who will love them. They don't believe they're lovable as is, which means they have high levels of self-criticism and very low self-esteem. And people like that are an exhausting relationship as well. But if you're a woman with low self-esteem and high criticism of yourself, you will attract those type of people. And so to answer your first question, because I just answered the second one a little bit, there are signs, and most men aren't educated necessarily to like open the door for the date, but you can see it in other ways on how they communicate to you. Like if they're talking about their past with their ex-girlfriend, that's already a huge red flag, or even something that happened with an ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, anything. If they're in the past and the date is primarily like the things that happened to them, woe is to them, really not good sign. If they're in the future of like all their big goals that they want to talk about and they want to do and create, also a big not good sign. You want to hear and listen as a woman. Primarily, this is my main like focus of my clientele. If they're talking in the present about what they're actually doing and what they're actually working towards now, it's a really big indicator of where they are at with their health. And so they should not be talking about sex on the first date. They should not be talking about their ex almost ever until you're maybe way further in the relationship for like, yeah, it's really not an important topic. And you have to just, again, hear what they're trying to say. Are they talking about feelings and themselves, Or are they talking about the war and the politics and and the guy down the street and can't believe he did that? Like, listen, are they actually talking about themselves in the present now with feelings involved because they're human and healthy? Or are they somewhere else dragging you along for an exciting conversation? And when, again, you just sit back and relax, you can see these behaviors. And I do educate women so clearly on all of these things so that they become a leader and a love lighter in their own life. So yes, there are certain things that you can see if a guy is actually ready to give to you and be patient and considerate of your needs kind of right away.
That is actually, you're brilliant. By the way, you're really good at this. I just wanted to say, and I keep asking too many questions and stuff. But in any event, Brachelle's computer or some silly thing went away, and so we're talking with Chaya Garcia. It's Chaya, right?
It's Chaya.
Chaya. Gotcha. And we need to take a break, and when we come back, hopefully Brachelle will be back. But we'll see. We'll see. You are just phenomenal. By the way, if somebody wants to reach out to you to work with you, or if you're a guy and want to know how you can become a better guy, I'll bet you can do that too.
So reach out to me by finding me on Instagram at Epic Love Expert. So go to Epic Love Expert on Instagram and you'll find me, send me a DM, and I would love to connect with you to help you get the relationship that you truly deserve.
And at the end of the day, everybody deserves a relationship that they can thrive in and that they can build and they can have a great time with without all the crap that goes around that people have to deal with. So in any event, we'll be right back. You are just phenomenal. And hopefully Brachelle will be here. I think she went to get a pen and a paper to take notes. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald and Brachelle, who's floating around the ether somewhere, and we're hoping that she's going to come back to say hello at one point. But we were playing that commercial about for Covenant House, and there are so many homeless kids, and there are so many kids that are not getting the help that they need to live better lives. And I wish that we as a culture, because, you are so gifted at what you do and what you talk about, and it makes so much sense, and it's so clear that it would hopefully prevent a lot of needless tragedy and other stuff from going on. Because, I talk to a lot of women that have had narcissistic behavior by their spouse, and some of it's last 10, 15 years. They can't get out of it once they get into it. Isn't the best way to do it is to never get into it in the first place?
Yeah, because what narcissism does is it actually has an intermittent positive reinforcement in your brain. So narcissists are actually very charming and they're good, so to speak, people, but they have this seemingly evil, but it's not. They just have a very, very low self-esteem and very, very high levels of trauma. So they need someone in their lives that they can control because they're just so out of control and they have almost no self-worth. So they use another person as their form of self-worth, which means they essentially become a dominator and the woman becomes the puppet. But what happens is they do these very subtle, unconscious, they're not evil bad men with bats beating women. There are some sick men like that too. But narcissists are subtle. And so I really do educate women on the signs during the dating process so they don't get into it. Like I said, there's an intermittent reinforcement in the brain that the woman actually becomes physiologically and emotionally addicted to the man because he'll do things that have a push and a pull. So he'll say things to her like after a little bit, like, you know, when we first met, I wasn't really attracted to you, but now I am. And you're like, oh, that seems so good. But wait, like what? Or they'll do things like silent treatment. If you don't do something that they want you to do, they will withdraw their love almost dramatically and make you feel like so scared you're going to lose them. And then they'll come back whenever they decide and then be like, you know what? You're the most amazing woman. I've never met anyone like you. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to buy 5 more self-help books. And it's going to be great, honey. Like, I love you and I'm working on myself. And they're weirdly growth oriented, even though they never grow. It's extraordinarily confusing, except for me who knows it so well. But once you are educated, you can see it. So they do these push-pull things where they make you feel like you're very unique and special, but at the same time, they subtly withdraw their love from you when you don't do something that they want. So they actually create a punishment and a reward pretty close together, but so subtly that you're not sure why you keep going back and saying, will you love me now? Is it going to be okay now? How about now? And you actually lose yourself. The woman loses herself and her identity in this crazy relationship, hoping that he's going to choose her finally in some stability. But she becomes addicted to the instability, just like an addict, and then chases that next high of when he does say, I love you, and it's going to work out.
That's just amazing to me. But that is so true, and a lot of women that I've talked to have gone down that exact road, and it's kind of like they get whiplash because, you know, at one moment it's this, and then it's that, and then they forgive him because now he's saying all sorts of sweet nothings and stuff, and then it goes back to the same thing, which is not a good relationship or not a healthy relationship. And so your work and what you do, you help women understand some of those things so that they can avoid them, because, you know, 10 or 20 years of your life is a long time to be going through whiplash like that.
And even less than that, I just spoke to someone who's in a narcissistic relationship right now, and it hasn't been going on that very long. And again, until you learn how to love yourself, it's a massive fundamental to attracting and sustaining a healthy relationship. And she's still in the woes of, but he bought me these certain clothes, and it's so strange. And they feel that it's strange, but they don't know how to handle abandonment because they abandon themselves and their own emotions all the time. That if they were to facilitate abandonment, it would feel like a death and it would be too frightening for them. So they rather stay in the known and in the strange because it becomes familiar than leave it and have such a withdrawal of love and abandonment that they feel like they would die. Like an addict, they feel like almost drawn to a point they can't stop. So the work that I do with the women is before you date, like after you've been in a horrible relationship, maybe after you've been married, if you've never been married before, same work, same story, learn how to love yourself. Know that you're 100% effed up, but still 100% lovable. Learn how to light up your own love and don't allow people to snuff it out if they're trying to control, comment, or criticize on you. And know that you don't need someone to love you, even though it's a real human need. You can and give it to yourself, provide it for yourself, and it needs to come from yourself. Otherwise, you will find a very unhealthy man who will try to force force the love on you, but it never actually plays out into sustainable love because it was always an exchange of what they can get from you instead of loving you.
It seems to me that a lot of it's a cultural thing. I think that the women tend to take care of everybody else. They're taught from being a child to take care of everybody else, and they take care of themselves last. How do you break through that so that they take care of themselves, learn to love themselves? Because you can't really love anybody else unless you love yourself. How do you help them do that?
So basically, I break up love into 3 different components. One is forgiveness. The second one is acceptance. And the third is protection. Louise Hay, just to give her a nod, because like you interviewed Louise Hay and she's my OG. She passed the torch to me to share this love and this light on a next level. Thank you, holy Louise Hay. And so I appreciate her. And so she says that self-love is you don't scare yourself and you don't fright and you don't criticize yourself. So you don't beat yourself up and you don't think of all the worst things that can happen and frighten yourself, even though nothing really happened bad. I personally, in my program and after a lot of different forms of education, break it up into forgiveness, acceptance, and protection. Forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Yep, he hurt you. Yep, you slept with him when you didn't want to. Yep, you stayed in that situation way longer than you should. Yep, you screwed up your kid a little bit tiny bit. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive your mom for screwing you up and forgive your dad. They just didn't know better. They didn't know, therefore they couldn't teach you. And if they hurt you, they were hurting, and only hurt people hurt. So you have to develop a strong muscle and education and connection and consistency around forgiveness. I forgive my past. I forgive my parents for the good and bad that they've done. And I forgive myself for all my past mistakes. And when you really forgive yourself and you're not actively beating yourself for all of the stupid stuff you've done or for the things you wish you didn't do, you can start loving yourself enough to believe you deserve good and only good. The second part is acceptance. I don't need to change to be lovable. I don't need to be skinnier or fatter. I don't need to gain 5 pounds or lose 5 pounds. I don't need to cut open my breast and go under anesthesia and have an implant in it. And if my breast protrudes 3 inches further, I'll finally be more attractive and look better in my clothes, and then I'll be worthy of love. I don't need to change my body. I don't need to change anything about me to be lovable. As is with my money levels, with my height levels, with my body, with my age, I am lovable and deserving of love. Hey, Rochelle, welcome back. We're in how to love yourself. So it's protection, acceptance, and forgiveness. Forgive yourself, accept yourself.
Girl, I've been listening. Trust me. StreamYard wouldn't let me back in for a minute, and I was listening.
Okay, cool. And then protection. How do you realize that you are a light? And then if you allow too many people who are unhealthy, like with bad breath or negative self-talk or negative talk at you or criticism, it's like a gust of black blowing smoke that can and will take out your light. And so you need to put boundaries up and protect yourself. And therefore you leave relationships, whether they're family, sometimes it's temporary, sometimes not. Whether you leave family, relatives, friendships, or boyfriends, if they are hurting you with their words or their energy or their language, they're criticizing you, they're not holding space for you, they don't give you enough oxygen to just stay alive, like you remove them. You don't hang out in environments that hurt you. You don't watch movies that scare you. You don't go on the news every day. Your socials are inspiring and heal oriented. You don't watch pornography where women are raped for someone else's pleasure and then paid for it, and you consider it normal because society has normalized a horrible thing to other people's daughters and gave them money and drugs enough to make it okay. You protect your mind and your inner environment and your soul with things that make you feel proud of yourself, with things that make you feel like you're on your journey to becoming the best you possible. And when you protect yourself with what comes into your brain, your eyes, and what comes out of your mouth and who's coming at you, you actually can then facilitate a much healthier growth and shift and love in the world.
And I think you'll attract a completely different human being.
And repel the ones that used to be attractive to you.
That's the strangest thing. Yeah, but that is so true. That is so true. By the way, Rochelle, I screwed up her first name. I know that's hard to believe.
It's all good.
Chaya Garcia is her name.
It's all good. It's all good. As long as you're not
And we need to
manipulating.
take a break. And by the way, we have a world premiere that we're going to play right now. Just a minute, but I love it. And they did it for me. My team did it for me. And I would love your opinion about this. So we're going to play this right now, and we'll be right back. More with
Chaya Garcia, the relationship expert.
very good. So we'll be right back in just 60 seconds.
The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.
And welcome back to Positive Talk. I hope everybody enjoyed that. What did you think, young lady?
I thought it was great. And now you can edit in, be kind to yourself so you can be kind to others. Because if you're hurting yourself, that is when you hurt other people. When you criticize yourself and you think you're like too slow or too fast or that's literally it's from your eyes and your self-talk that you react and act out on other people. So when we're not kind to other people and we think, oh my God, how can they talk so much or how can they talk so loud? It's because that person thinks that they shouldn't talk too much or talk too loud because they were trained to talk softly or not too much. And so it's their own self-criticism that then they actually see the eyes and hurt and use to judge other people. But a compassion, like you started that amazing commercial with, compassion is the answers. When we can see ourselves as 100% effed up and then still super compassionate on ourselves and 100% lovable, we take those eyes, those vision, those belief systems and apply it to everyone who f's up. We're like, oh, you screwed up. You did that horrible thing, but you're still lovable. You probably just had a horrible day. Like when I screwed up, I just had a horrible day, but I'm still lovable. And I know you're still lovable. So I can still love you and not hate on you just because you made that mistake. It's a very different way to vibe in life.
Yeah.
How come? Go ahead, Rochelle.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I love how you both brought that up from a different aspect, but it comes down to the same thing is when whoever you are within yourself is become your surroundings. I know it's like the most little thing to say, but it is so true. If you put a rotten fruit next to a fresh fruit, what's going to happen? They don't become fresh. They both rot. And when you change who you are, it's okay for your environment to change. It's okay for your surroundings to change. Me and Kevin talk about this all the time. Change is okay. It's not easy and it's not always fun and it doesn't have all these rainbows and unicorns and sparkles all in between. And it might be one of the hardest things you ever did. But when you decide that that change is better than where you are now, and you step into that and you see how it is different, the people around me are different. I feel different. And energized different. The way that I see things, like you both said, is now different. And that's like the whole point of what we're supposed to be doing. Um, when we become stagnant, there is no growth. And would you say that that's kind of fair? Is when we get into those motives, it's that we need to get out of being stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to be okay with like how I explain it is you need to be okay with having a higher tolerance of the pain that you will allow yourself to go through but so I can do hard things. I can end a relationship or a friendship that's not good for me, even though it's so painful, but I can do hard things. I have a higher tolerance of pain that I'm willing to go through to accomplish my dreams, but I have a much lower tolerance of pain from other people. So most women are like, it's okay, I can handle that. Oh, he did that to you. It's okay, I can handle that. Oh, he drank the whole night and he cheated on you one time, and oh, it's okay. I understand it, and therefore I can handle it. And so they have a very high threshold for pain that comes from other people, but a very low threshold of pain for themselves to actually create positive situations in their life that might take and cause a lot of pain, but in a short burst, versus over time in an unhealthy relationship, it's a long drip out of pain. So it's really of your understanding of how, when Kevin was speaking, I was like, a healthy person, it's not enlightened, it's healthy or unhealthy. A healthy person approaches their pain and says, I can do hard things. I want to see what I need to get through this situation and not, hurt myself or others in the process. But an unhealthy person will run away from their pain and then focus on someone else. They need to change. The war, the news, the president, they're so far removed from themselves that they have a very low threshold of managing pain from themselves. So they put it outwards and focus and manage other relationships that drain their focus and goals in life.
Right. And I just want to touch on, I'm going to let Kevin kind of take us out and finish up his questions that he probably has. But the one thing I really want to touch on is this is for all people. This isn't women who are struggling with men, or, men only do this, so women do that, and this is why this. This is us as people, as humanity, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think some people may be hearing, oh, well, females this and men this, and that's why this. No, it all comes down to one person choosing to be healthy for themselves. Seems pretty simple.
Yeah, self-love is a daily practice. Like if John got into a relationship with you and he texted you one time, good morning, I love you, but then you didn't hear from him for a week, you wouldn't believe that he loves you. And so the same thing goes with a relationship with yourself. You can't just say, I'm going to be a good, kind person and then neglect yourself. You can't say, I'm going to be a good, kind person and give out all this energy to the world and then neglect yourself. And then say, I love you to yourself one time because you watched a show, but then a month later goes and you weren't consistent. So like every single day, I write myself a love note. I have a sticky pad. Every morning as part of my morning routine, I write to myself, hey, Chaya, I really love you, and something. And then I love you, love Chaya, because I'm in an active, consistent relationship with myself where I don't allow myself to abandon myself and neglect myself so that I am not good for the people around me. So it is for everybody, but it's a consistent relationship that you're in, an active and communicative one with yourself. You ask yourself, what do I need? How do I feel? What do I want to do? What are my goals? The most successful people are in active communication with themselves as they grow and shift in the world.
Beautiful.
I get told I talk to myself way too much.
It's a sign of intelligence.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I've been around the planet for a while now, and what I've learned is you got to let the past go, because the past doesn't. You can't do, Rochelle. You can't do anything about the past. That's all gone now, and all you can do is take care of yourself today, and then set the intention of taking care of yourself tomorrow as well. But sometimes stuff gets in the way and stuff, and then you got to go. And when the next day comes, you got to say that day is over with, and I'm going to do better, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to do all the things that make me feel good. Is that fair? Is that right? Is that close?
Yeah, I mean, everything except the last sentence. It's not, I'm going to do things that make me feel good, because sometimes there's a lot of resistance that doesn't feel good before you actually get to the positive action. So for example, sometimes you don't want to take a shower, but then you take a shower and you're like, oh, that was actually really helpful. Or sometimes you don't want to go to the gym. It doesn't feel good. You don't want to get out of your house or put on your clothes. and then you finish the workout and you're like, wow, that was really helpful. So besides for the fact that you're not trying to make yourself feel good, you're trying to nurture yourself and allow yourself to go through points of resistance to accomplish your goals. But everything else.
Yeah, no, I get that, but hey, I gotta push back on this a little bit, because the in the days now that we are of COVID, there are people. I do not go to the gym because I don't want to be that close to other human beings, because I don't want to get sick. I haven't been sick in. Rochelle's been with me a year and a half, and she's been sick like a bunch of more times than I have, because I don't want to be sick, and so I stay home a lot more.
I'd have to say my immune system is 10 times stronger than yours, Kevin.
How would you know? I'm never sick.
Because your body never learns to go through those things and go do those. And you can't use that as an excuse. You love going out. Kevin told the story. I'm going to put him on blast right now, because he goes, even if he only leaves one time, once that week, there is this lady that is at this gas station that has the worst outcome of what her life became. Every time Kevin gets back from that gas station, he is clearly happier. And it goes to show in any relationship, what you provide for somebody and who you are in yourself, no matter what you have, what race you are, what age you are, what gender, none of that. Who you treat yourself as, like you've been saying this whole time, is what makes you who you are. And that's why people are the way they are around you. And that's who you also attract. And hello, I'm guessing you have your husband with us.
My name is Adam. How are you?
Great. How are you, Adam?
Doing fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you came in for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, we know it's the last 5 minutes, but he like peeked in. I was like, yeah, join.
Yes,
absolutely. So tell her, are you two married?
Yes, we're married now in our 8th year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We have kids together, and we also own the company together. So Adam works with me as the back end, and he also helps do all of the marketing, the scales, the funnels, and really helps the company run in a really smooth way, because he sees how much transformation these women make in such a short period of time. So we work together, and we're married very, very, very happily with our cute little family.
Well, and I got to tell you, next time, Adam, you got to come back. You got to come at the beginning of the show, because we got a lot of questions for you too, and stuff. But by the way, thank you and congratulations for supporting Chaya in the work that she's doing, because that's a really important thing. And congratulations and good job for doing all that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's worth it. There's a lot of work to do and a lot of healing to do, but when you can work on something that's worthwhile, as opposed to an exchange of resources, your time for a paycheck, there's a lasting and an ever-growing effect.
Yeah, very true. And let's talk about the business a little bit. I want to give you, Chaya, a moment to like go over all that is, because anybody who's listening is like, wait, I can go to her business and I can learn about this and become this for myself. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want to go?
No, you go.
So we have a company together. We primarily work with very successful single women. So if you're a female who's a business owner, an entrepreneur who's ready to invest in yourself, and you want your business to grow and your net worth to grow, then you have to focus on your inner worth. And so we work primarily with singles who are business owners and entrepreneurs to really give them a high level coaching on everything that we're teaching: how to love yourself, how to see signs of narcissism on the first date, how to see signs of addiction on the first date, how to become a love lighter where you don't feel the need to be wanted by a man, and you can actually attract someone who's going to want you for you instead of an exchange of what you can give them. And we have different coaching programs, master classes. We actually, on this Thursday, an Epic Love Masterclass, we do those every Thursday. You can go to epiclovemasterclass.com to register. And if you want to speak to me, like I said, you can go to at Epic Love Expert on Instagram and send me a DM. But it's really my promise is I'm not a matchmaker, which has like a list of men and I'm just going to get you married. Like my promise is to you, if you learn this education, which I have spent over 20 years perfecting and compiling in a really powerful educational way, then you'll never be abandoned. And if you really learn how to love yourself and implement that and learn the signs of unhealthy behavior from the get-go and consult with me in case you are confused, in case you haven't mastered it just yet, you'll never get abandoned. And I do it from your commercial for all of the children that are going to be born from here till I pass away and millions after my life that are either going to come into homes that are broken with fighting, tension, lovelessness, or just two roommates in together, or God forbid abuse, which is also super common. Or they're going to be born into true love homes, epic love homes, which is what we do, our Epic Love Masterclass. And the truth is, it really is possible. You just have to start with choosing yourself first and having that goal in mind so you don't lower your standards along the way.
Beautiful.
And guys, I have to mention this because you mentioned Louise Hay.
Yes.
And all the work that she's done and all the books that you've read that she's been part of. And this is, by the way, Hay House. And go to Hay House if you want to learn some things about yourself and about the world around you. Go to Hay House. There's lots and lots of material there. And so therefore, we have to have you back to talk about the spiritual side of Hay House and what it is and how we can all live our best life. You know, we say that in the opening, that we're born great and we're in the adventure of a lifetime, but a lot of people don't recognize that and they sleep through it. And I want to try and help people wake up. And you can get that done, young lady. And you too, Adam.
Yeah. It's a really amazing thing to be able to facilitate growth and transformation in so many people. I feel like it is a blessing. Like I said, Louise Hay passed her torch, and it was only from transforming my pain that my pain became my pleasure, and taking my traumas and transforming them into my treasure. And so I've been through more death than most people go through their whole life. I've buried my brother at 31, my best friend at 25. But you know what? When you take your traumas and you transform them, they become your treasures. They become your little gifts that you can give to the world if you utilize them instead of allowing them to take you down. They can and are meant to take you up. And so for the whole world, like anything that you've gone through, it's your take your mess and make it your message, and allow your story to become your magic that makes you feel unique as well as empathetic to the people around you.
And sadly, we have to go, but that's a T-shirt. Take your mess and make it your message. And that's awesome. Will you come back and see us again?
Yes, of course I do.
And we got to go because we've got our next guest is waiting patiently and we are late. So your website again, Chaya Garcia, and how can they get a hold of you again, your website?
Send me a DM on Epic Love Expert to book your own call. And if you want to sign up for the masterclass, go to epiclovemasterclass.com and register and start learning how to love yourself and choosing you over everyone else, because it's from you that you go into every other relationship. So do that with Epic Love.
And since we are all one, you need to be kind to yourself, because when you're kind to yourself, you can be kind to everybody else, because they're the same as you. Thank you so much, guys. We got to go.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin@kmmedia.pro.